Right now at 6, a police chase of a stolen car begins in Kansas and ends with an arrest in Missouri.
And we've got the opportunity for some showers and thunderstorms as we go through the morning and into the afternoon, keeping an eye on that thunderstorm complex up there. Details coming up.
Plus, a motorcycle crash in Joplin claims the life of an 18-year-old man.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOA Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday, September the 9th, and we've got some opportunities for some showers and thunderstorms out there this morning. Expected to be fairly isolated, but I mentioned that thunderstorm complex. I'm going to break down what we're looking at with that and why we're watching it closely as it pushes closer to the area this morning. First, though, a live look from downtown Pittsburgh, and it looks great so far. Can't complain too much. A little bit chilly for some locations, not too bad for others out there. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin is also looking pretty good this morning as well. So here's Skywatch Storm Tracker. So in our area, we're getting some little splotchy showers again that are developing. Not much out there at this point in our neck of the woods. But then we head up north, and it's this thunderstorm complex that we're keeping an eye on. And I'm going to tell you why. At this point, it's not because we're expecting anything severe out of it by any means, but we are watching it because model data, the computers basically, we'll just stick with that. The computers believe it should be dying out as it approaches and passes the I-70 corridor and gets closer to our area. But the trends here have not been suggesting that. They've not been supporting the computer's thought that this is going to die out. Because A, it's holding its own. It's intensified a bit. It's not severe, but it's intensified a bit. And we've had new development take place behind it. And we're seeing new development now right along this boundary that's ahead of this complex as well. So the only reason that we're watching it is because if it doesn't begin to weaken or decay as expected, then it could just simply increase shower and thunderstorm chances and possibly bring them over a broader area than what we're currently expecting. So that's why we just want to keep an eye on it and see exactly how it behaves over the next couple of hours. So here's the deal. Between here and noon, isolated thunderstorm chances, which we've been seeing, isolated showers and storms, better chances in the southeast Kansas initially. And at noon, here's future track. And this is what I'm talking about with the computers. You see this light green? That's that complex entering our northern counties. And this is all that's left of it as it pushes into the area. So that's why we want to watch it, because not because we're expecting it to get crazy and hectic and wild, but simply because if it doesn't weaken that much, then it would still be a broader area of showers and storms and maybe last a little longer and go a little further south and east. So all it would do would increase storm chances over a broader area versus what we're expecting as we head into the afternoon. Temperatures, in an oddity, it is cooler south of I-44 than it is north. We've got mid-upper 50s, and as you head north, we've got most of us in the low to mid 60s to start our day. Kids getting on the bus against some isolated storms, especially southeast Kansas. Upper 50s, and we'll go mid 70s for lunch and recess. Still isolated storm chances, and those continue. But again, if that complex weakens, the better chances are going to be our northeastern counties into southwest Missouri, and we'll go low 80s. As we hit 9 a.m., mid 60s out there, mid 70s by noon. Our highs today still a bit below normal, low to upper 70s rather, and low 80s with a south breeze at 5 to 10 miles an hour. We'll continue to watch those storms out there this morning, and we'll talk about tomorrow's storm chances and when these numbers here really take off here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a police chase of a stolen car begins in Kansas, then ends with an arrest in Missouri. Now they have this man in jail in Missouri. He's 31-year-old Tyler Allen Cole Ritz. In addition to the stolen vehicle, law enforcement say they also found several items of suspected stolen property from burglaries that took place over the weekend in Crawford County. Now, it all began as police chased a stolen car in Pittsburgh. Sheriff's deputies from Crawford County took over as the chase moved out of the city and eventually east into Missouri. Officers from Crawford and Jasper counties managed to use tire deflation devices on the vehicle, but the driver continued to flee. Authorities say the driver intentionally hit deputy vehicles from both counties before officers managed to use a tactical maneuver to stop the car near Sumac and 210th in Jasper County. The Barton County Sheriff's Office and Missouri State Highway Patrol also participated. And a crash involving a motorcycle and car claimed the life of a young man in Joplin. The crash happened at about 8 yesterday morning on 20th and Schifferdecker Avenue. Authorities say the northbound vehicle struck a southbound car. The driver of the car was not injured. A crew rushed the motorcycle driver, 18-year-old Nicholas Jones of Joplin, to the hospital, but he died of his injuries. The Nevada, Missouri Fire Department released details of a fire that swept through this two-story home over the weekend. Investigators say an electrical issue sparked the blaze on South Ash Street. No one was home and no one was hurt. And smoke was visible for miles yesterday morning when fire swept through a large barn garage type building on Fur Road in rural Carthage. It was engulfed when crews arrived. We have no reports of injuries, and firefighters from Carthage, Dunaway, and Sarcoxie all responded. And the Baxter Springs Police Department put out a Facebook post about vehicle burglaries and thefts. In the post, they say they're doing what they can to identify, locate, and arrest the people responsible. They also give tips for keeping your vehicle safe, which include taking your valuables out of the car and keeping it locked.
Got your kid coming down the street right here on Garfield, and he stops out here at the driveway, and then he comes and gets in the Camaro. He spends about 5 minutes in the Camaro. Looked like he was trying to start it, had his foot on the brake for a long time, but then got out of that and got into the truck.
Now, the Baxter Springs PD asked if you catch something like that in photos or videos, please share it with them. The Federal Communication Commission plans to vote on a proposal that would allow prisons to jam contraband cell phones. The vote is expected to happen this month. Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders and other leaders held a roundtable to discuss threats contraband phones pose to officers. And the city of Joplin works toward a decision for the future of the area where the Pennsylvania Avenue viaduct sits. The bridge has been closed for years after failed inspection deemed it unsafe for traffic. The deterioration of the bridge later closed a nearby alley due to falling debris. Now, with the demolition of the viaduct nearing, city officials are now looking at what could be next for the site. KOAM Samantha Walker reports.
In a public meeting at Joplin City Hall, city engineers and project consultants are detailing the options for the Pennsylvania Avenue viaduct.
When we looked at the bridge, we looked at, well, what would it cost to repair the bridge? And anytime you looked at that cost to repair, it was a very large cost. And it's for a bridge that's no longer needed as a bridge.
City officials say demolition was long overdue, but a lack of funds continue to be a barrier. Because of a lack of grants, the project was included in the capital improvement sales tax, supported by voters in 2024. Stretched along the tables are the two main options for the site's future. The first, a concept where a road replaces the bridge, and the second, a concept without either. But because the city doesn't own everything underneath the bridge and doesn't have complete right-of-way, it makes some options more difficult.
We do not have no street right-of-way underneath the bridge, which is very unusual. So if we were to put back an at-grade road, we would have to go through the process like building a brand new street through an existing neighborhood.
Now, the demolition of the viaduct is expected to happen before the Missouri Department of Transportation begins reconstruction of 7th Street / Route 66 between Schiffendecker and Rangeline.
We have to decide what we will be doing. If we do not put a road back, then the signal at Pennsylvania and 7th, then the Highway Department does not need to replace that signal. So one benefit, one bonus would be the removal of that signal, which would make the traffic flow a lot better on 7th Street.
To get ahead of MoDOT, who plans to start work in the near future, the city will ideally make a project decision within the next month and start with demolition, the most pressing matter, and future project work later on.
So we may want to delay whatever it is we do there. We may want to delay that for later. So that could be 3, 4, 5 years from now.
Reporting in Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
If you were unable to attend yesterday's public meeting, you can still have your voice heard and ask questions. We have the details on how to do so on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, at least 6 people are killed and a dozen injured in a shooting attack at a Jerusalem bus stop. Plus, Russia intensifies its attacks on Ukraine after President Trump's meeting with Putin in Alaska. And warm and cloudy conditions. Chris has a look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now, 6:10. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Mackey Greevy Memorial Park. In World Watch, tensions remain high in the Middle East in the wake of an attack in Jerusalem yesterday morning, the deadliest in the Israeli city since 2023. At least 6 people were killed and a dozen injured when Palestinian attackers opened fire at a bus stop in Jerusalem. Israeli police said 2 gunmen launched the attack during morning rush hour. A security officer and an armed civilian returned fire, killing the attackers.
2 Palestinian terrorists murdered Jews on buses at the remote junction in the entrance to Jerusalem. So far, 6 Israelis have been killed. There are many injured, including pregnant women. We pray for them. We are in a war with radical Islamist terrorism.
The attack comes a day after President Trump gave what he called a last warning to Hamas to agree to his terms for ending the war in the region, adding that Israel had accepted his proposed ceasefire and hostage release agreement. And President Trump is talking about punishing Russia again after its biggest air attack on Ukraine in nearly 4 years of war. Saturday night's assault caused serious damage in Ukraine's capital, including one of its most important government buildings. Holly Williams has the latest on the war that rages on.
Russia launched a swarm of over 800 drones, according to Ukraine's Air Force. The Ukrainians intercepted most of them, but nearly 60 drones evaded air defences, killing 4, including a 2-month-old baby. Unusually, the assault also set fire to a building used by Ukraine's cabinet ministers, normally well guarded by anti-missile and drone systems. This young mother in Kyiv is frightened. Every new attack gets more outrageous, she said. Just last month, President Trump rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin in Alaska. But since then, Russia's intensified its attacks on Ukraine, and it's also ramping up its production of weaponized drones. Yesterday, President Trump said he was ready to hit Russia with a second phase of sanctions. That could mean targeting countries that continue to buy Russian oil, like India and China.
Russia is not normal state. It's a petrol station.
Last month in Kyiv, a Ukrainian military official told us that Vladimir Putin has no interest in ending the war, but he's fearful of sanctions that could further damage Russia's economy.
His willingness to meet with President Trump on Alaska was actually because of the fact that he was really scared about sanctions.
President Trump said yesterday that he'd speak with Vladimir Putin in the coming days. In an interview that aired yesterday, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said the visit to Alaska gave Putin what he wanted, a very public meeting with the President of the United States. Holly Williams, CBS News, London.
And that's a look at World Watch. Still to come, celebrities flock to West Hollywood for cutting-edge wellness treatments, including cold plasma facials. Plus, warm and cloudy today. Chris has another look at today's forecast. Good morning. I'm Elise Noe with your KOAM News update. A motorcycle crashed into a car yesterday, killing 18-year-old Nicholas Jones. The crash happened on 20th and Schifferdecker Avenue in Joplin. Authorities say the northbound motorcycle struck a southbound car. The driver of the car was not injured. A crew rushed the motorcycle driver to the hospital, but he died of his injuries. And yesterday, a high-speed chase began as police pursued a stolen car in Pittsburgh. Sheriff's deputies from Crawford County took over as the chase moved out of the city and eventually east into Missouri. Authorities say the driver intentionally hit deputy vehicles from both counties before officers managed to use a tactical maneuver to stop the car near Sumac and 210th in Jasper County.
And we've got an opportunity for some isolated showers and storms out there. I think most of us will be dry, and we'll go into the upper 70s and low 80s. Partly cloudy skies through the evening. Any rain we do have done by 5. Around 70 by 10. Overnight lows, again, a little cool side, upper 50s and some low 60s. A little warmer tomorrow, but still pretty close to average. Mid 80s and some isolated storms once again. Mostly cloudy Thursday, but we start heating up. We're going low to mid 90s heading into the weekend, putting us well above average. Upper 80s, low 90s next week as well, with rain chances on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Well, the Emmy Awards are this Sunday, broadcast live on CBS. Now, it can take weeks for stars to prepare to walk the red carpet, and in today's Travel Tuesday, CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette is in Southern California visiting some of the celebrity hotspots in West Hollywood, where they get ready for a big night, and so can you.
Fancy a little cold plasma? The treatment is part of the red carpet facial at Ulla Henriksen Spa in West Hollywood that celebrities embrace.
Why people really want it is glass skin. Dewy, glowy, plumpy, hydrated, brightened skin.
The facial includes V-Soto and Ulla Henriksen skin products and a human growth factor serum.
It helps to extend the results by about 10 days.
Just down the road in this wellness mecca, Next Health also draws celebrity clientele, offering IV, cryo, and infrared light therapies, along with vitamin shots.
All of these things really help to promote health from the inside, but the effect is that you appear healthier on the outside.
Stars seeking privacy will sometimes opt for a spa like this one at the nearby Sunset Marquis, where red light technology combats aging. The hotel where we stayed for a special rate has villas with private entrances and space to decompress in the heart of the city.
You walk through the breezeway and there's these beautiful 3.5 acres of gardens here.
The hotel is also home to Nightbird Recording Studios. The underground hideaway has 3 different studios where dozens of Grammy Award-winning records have been produced.
Jed Lieber owns the studio that attracts plenty of big names.
Everyone from Aerosmith to ZZ Top, A to Z, has worked here. One of my favorite sessions was Monty Python.
When it comes to Tinseltown's body conscious, they can fuel up on protein-rich sushi at Uchi, then burn it off at Dog Pound, where trainer Kara Lazowskis prepares busy performers for big events.
We stick to a full body approach so they're able to consistently come in the gym, so the soreness is mitigated, but they continue to train.
She recommends a minimum of 3 strength training sessions a week to get anyone red carpet ready. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, West Hollywood, California.
Well, treatments at Next Health start at $50 and the red carpet facial costs just under $500. The 77th Emmy Awards will air live Sunday at 7 p.m. Central and on CBS and Paramount Plus. Well, it's been 3 years since Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest-serving monarch, passed away at age 96 on September 8, 2022. Her death came just months after the UK celebrated her Platinum Jubilee, marking 70 years on the throne with festivities, stamps, and souvenirs honoring her legacy. And Prince Harry is making a quick visit to London this week to check in on his UK charities. The trip is sparking speculation about whether he'll finally reunite with his father, King Charles, after nearly 19 months apart. Harry's visit falls on the 3rd anniversary of Queen Elizabeth's death, raising hopes for a royal reconciliation. Let's take it over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got mostly cloudy skies out there, which you can see from downtown Pittsburgh. We do have isolated showers and storms, and we are still keeping an eye on a thunderstorm complex up to our north. We're going to break down everything you need to know when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now 6:23. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:25 on this Tuesday morning. We're starting again with Skywatch Storm Tracker and take a look into southeast Kansas. We've seen a smattering of new showers begin to develop, so this is within about the last 30 minutes, going back to 5:55 this morning. We've got these new isolated showers out there, and eventually could be a few rumbles of thunder. So we've got some out here that are northeast of Howard. We then zoom out, move over a bit back toward Elsmore and Moran. We've got some additional showers out there, a little heavier shower out here that is it's south of Burlington Garnett, northwest of Ozark in southeast Kansas. And we've got a couple of showers also that are off to the northwest of Yates Center at this point as well. And then we've still got this complex that we are continuing to monitor. And again, it's not dying out exactly as expected, so that's why we want to watch it. Again, it's not expected to become severe. That's not a significant concern here. It's just it could impact the rain chances for today by increasing them a bit for some of us if it doesn't begin to decay. Now, it has shown some signs of weakening, but we've still got thunderstorms that develop back behind it that are kind of building into a new complex of their own, and all of that is progressively moving south and east. And the other side of it is this activity from St. Joseph, northwest of Kansas City, stretching down. It's all part of the same boundary that's ahead of this line of storms here that's begun to develop. So you watch the activity in St. Joe, and then you just kind of follow this little line back around, and that's where we're getting our development. Now you can see in the latest refreshes here that the leading edge of this has shown some signs of weakening, but we still have this thunderstorm complex back behind it. So the reason it's important is, again, not because of severe weather. It's just, I'll show you the future track in a moment on what the thinking has been on the computers as to what this will do. It's expected to weaken and then just kind of barely clip us in our northeastern counties. If it doesn't, which, again, so far between it and its companion storms back behind, it's not really showing signs of weakening. All it's going to do is increase shower and thunderstorm chances, possibly over a slightly broader area than what we're expecting. Between here and noon, some of the isolated showers and storms we're seeing now in southeast Kansas, that's where the best window is going to be. By the time we get to noon, this is the leading edge of that complex we were just looking at. This is what Future Track believes is going to happen. You can see there's not much left of it. So we're talking northeast of Fort Scott, around Nevada, Stockton, and Butler. That's where we'll have an opportunity for some isolated storms through about 5 o'clock, and then that moves on out of here. But again, if it doesn't weaken as expected, then it could just bring a broader area of showers and storms, maybe a little further south and east. So we'd be talking Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Girard, maybe down to Lamar, in addition to Nevada, Stockton, and Butler. So that's why we just want to keep an eye on it. All it's going to do really is potentially increase shower and storm chances for some of us compared to what the current expectation is. After that clears out, we are partly cloudy overnight and into the start of tomorrow. About 8, 9 o'clock, another round of isolated showers, thunderstorms begins building in through southeast Kansas. And again, the better chances will be in southeast Kansas, but we could get a few into southwestern Missouri as we head later into the evening on our Wednesday. And then that clears out, and other than some mostly cloudy skies Thursday, that's it. We're going to be done with rain for a bit. Mostly cloudy skies this morning, giving us a nice little sunrise out there, 7th and range line. Low 60s to start our day, low 70s by 11. And again, we'll have those isolated storm chances. But again, that complex, if it doesn't weaken, could increase these chances again for some of us. Most of us, though, still the expectation is to be dry today. We'll be heading into the upper 70s and low 80s with a south breeze at 5 to 10. And similar to yesterday as well, a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy through the evening and dry. Be down to 70 by 10. Overnight lows into the upper 50s and low 60s. Now tomorrow we are warmer, but average high is 85. So we're pretty close to that. We might be a couple degrees warmer, but not that far off. We'll have those isolated storm chances again. But then we head into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now we're starting to heat up. All right, low to mid 90s out there, dry, hot conditions, few clouds over the weekend. So, I mean, the one plus is if there's one of those last minute projects you need to get done, you got a pretty good weekend to get on it out there. Next week, though, still pretty warm, above average by a bit, upper 80s, low 90s with some additional rain chances on Tuesday and Wednesday. That's a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, nearly half of people with diabetes aren't aware that they have it. A University of Washington study found an estimated 44% of people with diabetes were unaware of their condition. Young adults in particular are often underdiagnosed. The study also found worldwide only around 1 in 5 diabetes patients have their blood sugar levels managed optimally. And scientists say they figured out why the flu is more deadly for older people. University of Nottingham research showed older people produce higher levels of a protein that reduces the ability to resist viruses. Now that they've identified the protein, researchers say they can work on targeted treatments to help protect elderly people from severe flu infections. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, September is Suicide Awareness Month, and a local group is bringing hope to people who are struggling.
And isolated showers and thunderstorms, some of those already developing, more possible through the day. We'll go over those details with you coming up.
Plus, 11 Chinook helicopters line up for one last mission over Kansas City.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:34. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday, September the 9th, and we've got rain chances again out there. But like yesterday, fairly isolated. Many of us were dry.
Right.
That's the expectation today. There's one interesting variable out there that we're watching, and it's a thunderstorm complex, and it could play a big role in how much rain people get or how much rain they don't get over the next few hours. We're going to start, though, with a live look downtown Pittsburgh, where we've got mostly cloudy skies to start the day. Otherwise, sunrise looks pretty neat so far. And MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin also showing those mostly cloudy skies as well. So here's Skywatch Storm Tracker. We're seeing an uptick in shower activity now into southeastern Kansas, really within about the last we'll say 40 minutes. So since about 5:55, you can see these showers out there into parts of southeastern Kansas, and then you can see they're picking up as we go through the last, like I said, about 40 minutes or so. So around Elsmore into the eastern portions of Allen County, getting ready to roll into the western portions of Bourbon County. We got this little guy that's to the west of Ozark up in Anderson County, and then northwest and west of Yates Center. We do have these showers as well, and a couple back down into Elk County. Then this is the big wrench in the operation. And the reason that's the case is because the computer data this morning, and I keep checking the updates, the one that I've been looking at, the updates every hour, and it still suggests the same thing. First off, that it begins to weaken pretty quickly as it passes I-70, and two, the showers that we're seeing also fizzle out pretty quickly. But this thunderstorm complex, while it has not intensified any further and it has weakened just a smidge, it's still holding its own pretty well, and it's a little further to the west than what was expected. Additionally, we've got these thunderstorms that have developed behind it south of Beatrice in Nebraska, east of Concordia here, which again, the computers did not show these storms. Now, they were linked to this, but they've kind of separated, and they were individual storms, but they're kind of turning into their own little complex of storms. And then we had development ahead of it around St. Joe, which is also tagging along with this boundary pushing through southeastern Kansas. So the reason this complex is a big deal is not because we're expecting any kind of crazy severe weather or anything with it. It is simply because if it doesn't weaken as expected, or this holds on and holds its own, it will change, or increase rather, shower and storm chances for more of our northern counties and over a broader area. So let's take a look at future track. Between here and noon, isolated shower storms like we're seeing in southeast Kansas. By noon, those are expected to be about done. This is the edge of that thunderstorm complex we were just looking at in our northern counties, and this is all that's expected to be left of it as it pushes into the northeastern edges of our area. That's if it weakens. If it doesn't, you saw its track, we'll see thunderstorms over a broader area and more of them compared to what we're expecting right now on future track. And then by 5, again, going off of that thunderstorm complex decaying, they move out, we're done, we're dry. So we'll keep an eye on it. Again, not expecting it to become severe or anything, but it just could increase shower and storm chances for some of us as we head through the morning into the early afternoon. Temperatures this morning, mid-upper 50s and some low 60s, low to mid 60s. Kids getting on the bus, Upper 50s, near 60, get some isolated showers and storms continuing through the day. Mid 70s for lunch and recess time. And as they head home, right around 81 degrees. We're going to go mid 60s by 9, mid 70s by noon. Our highs today, upper 70s and low 80s. Again, we'll continue to monitor that thunderstorm complex and keep an eye on what it does next. And we'll have another look at your forecast, including tomorrow's rain chances and the big heat up where these temperatures jump in the next couple of days here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, we'll see you soon. Thanks. Well, September is Suicide Awareness Month, and a local group wants to bring hope to people who are struggling. Yesterday, family response advocates with the Pittsburgh Police Department created a Sidewalk of Hope in front of the department. Now, this project is to help grow community awareness, honor life, and show that there are resources to help.
So we want to be able to ensure that we can reach all of these people, and by doing that, we're creating a sidewalk of hope for those to see that they matter. There is help.
You should know help is available through the suicide prevention hotline at 988. Well, nearly a dozen Chinook helicopters took to the skies in a farewell flight from New Century Airport in Kansas yesterday. The unit, which was based at the airport for more than 4 decades, is now inactive after an Army Reserve reorganization. Ellen Shope has more on the final flight.
Yeah, few sounds and engines are more recognizable at the Kansas City Metro than the Chinook helicopter. 11 of them lining up for one last mission on Sunday morning.
We've never put 11 aircraft up together.
Folks gathering to watch the liftoff.
When our kids were growing up, they'd run to the door or run outside when the Chinooks flew over.
Some came to remember.
Very emotional.
Others came to support friends that fly them.
This is his last flight, and I know it means a lot to him.
The unit's future is unclear, and this was a difficult day.
Yeah.
A recent Army Reserve reorganization has the unit inactivated. No flight hours, no budget, only an end date next September.
The Chinooks kind of came here around 79, 80 time frame, so there's a lot of history with this unit.
It was a 45-minute flight circling Kansas City one last time. The unit says seeing everyone that showed up for them on this day means the world to them.
To be able to have that support, to know that the community is willing to show up. I've deployed 5 times with this unit. We've been to Afghanistan, we've been to Iraq, we've been to Kuwait.
On their return, the unit getting the official fire truck send-off salute for their more than 4 decades of service here.
It's bittersweet, end of an era, but we keep moving on.
The people need to remember those service members who paid the ultimate sacrifice, that were members of this unit.
20 years we've lived here. We just want to be here to honor them.
Well, it's not clear what will happen with the 13 Chinook helicopters based at New Century Airport. Let's look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Americans' confidence in finding a new job drops to a record low. We'll take a look at the new report. Plus, PNC Financial announces plans to buy First Bank Holding Company in a multi-billion-dollar deal. We'll have the latest. Time now, 6:40. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Maggie Grebe Memorial Park. Well, in Consumer Watch, Americans' confidence in finding a new job has dropped to a record low, according to the latest report of consumer expectations from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The average perceived probability of finding a new job after losing one fell to just over 44% among the heads of households surveyed. Now, that's the lowest measure ever on record since the New York Fed began collecting data in 2013. It comes as a recent CBS News poll showed that just 36% of Americans believe the economy is good. PNC Financial has announced plans to buy First Bank Holding Company in a deal worth more than $4 billion. The acquisition would expand PNC westward into Arizona and Colorado, where it would become the largest bank in Denver. The deal is expected to be completed sometime early next year, after which all First Bank branches will convert to PNC. And Ohio-based Middlefield Original Cheese Co-op is recalling specific packages of its cheeses due to a possible listeria contamination. Affected products include the company's Dilly Pickle Monterey Jack, organic Gouda, mozzarella, and bags of shredded cheese. The recalled cheese products were distributed between May and August in Ohio, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Texas. Customers can return the recalled cheese to the place of purchase for a refund. That's a look at consumer 2 more watch. Let's take it over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got mostly cloudy skies to start our day. Some of us getting some isolated showers, a few rumbles of thunder, and we're watching additional thunderstorm chances through the morning and into the afternoon with a thunderstorm complex up to our north. We're going to break down those details for you when we come back and talk about the summer heat that's on the way. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this. Time now is 6:45. All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays, and we are going to start in Neodesha, Reagan, I do apologize because it says Neodesha, Missouri. I'm presuming it's not Neosho, Missouri. I'm presuming you're in Neodesha, Kansas. But Reagan, wherever you are, a very happy birthday to Reagan Robinson, celebrating number 8 with love from Grandma and Grandpa.
And a happy 10th birthday to Jalen King in Chinook.
And in Joplin, Ava Esley celebrating birthday number 13, says love always, Mom and Dad.
And a happy 14th birthday to Camry Neville in Arma.
And in Pittsburgh, Caden Mitchell celebrating birthday number 18 today. Happy birthday.
And a happy 18th birthday as well to Cole Mitchell in Pittsburgh as well.
I just realized that I would be willing to say, I'm going to say that's probably the case here.
Yeah.
So that's why you were making the.
I was like, keep going.
I didn't read it. See, yesterday I skipped ahead. Today I didn't read ahead. Well, we're continuing our list though with Macy Church celebrating birthday number 21 in Chinook. Very happy birthday to you, Macy.
And in Columbus, a happy 38th birthday to Amy Dooley.
And in Joplin, Steve and Carolyn Turner celebrating their 44th wedding anniversary. A very happy anniversary to the Turners.
And continuing the list with a happy 36th birthday to Mercedes Morris in Parsons.
And in Hepler, Rhonda Kimmick celebrating birthday number 74, says happy birthday from the Crestline Girls.
And last but not least, in Columbus, a happy birthday to Pat Jacob Berger. It says here, happy birthday from the Crestline Girls.
All right, a very happy birthday and anniversary to everyone on our list. And of course, if you would like to celebrate with us, all you have to do is listen to Elise Noe.
Yes, please submit your wonderful birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMNewsNow.com. Be sure to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also please include the date of your celebration as well.
Very important information there. And then keeping an eye on some storm chances today. So we're going to take a moment. I'm reviewing some information from these thunderstorms here that are off to our north. Just some new information that's come down here in the last few minutes, and I just want to read through it, make sure I'm up on everything. So it's an interesting situation, and this happens every so often. It doesn't happen that often, but occasionally the computers really do have a hard grasp with what's going to take place sometimes. They have a really good idea, but then it doesn't go as planned, and this morning seems to be one of those mornings. I was just looking at the latest update too, and man, it's an interesting situation. So here's what we've got. We've got these isolated showers and eventually some rumbles of thunder, definitely possible. We've got this guy here that's on the west side of Yates Center. He's picking up a little bit, intensifying. Again, no lightning detected yet, but wouldn't be surprised if he turns into a thunderstorm. We've got a moderate shower west of Ozark into Anderson County, and then now moving into western Bourbon County. We can get kind of closer here on K3 and K65. We've got a heavier shower, probably going to be a thunderstorm soon. Got another one near Bronson, and then we've got these that are off to the west of Uniontown, and then speaking of Hepler, just to the south, a light shower there as well. So here's what we've got. We've got that activity. That's somewhat what we expected. It's this mess up here that is throwing a wrench into the whole operation, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because as this complex pushed southeast, it was supposed to begin to die out. Now, it has weakened since earlier. At its peak, there were 170 lightning strikes with the leading edge of this line of storms. We're down to about 59 now with this line of storms. It's now pushing south of I-70. Okay, it was expected to be dying out. It was also expected to be moving more southeasterly and would eventually clip our northeastern counties here. Then we've got these. These were individual storms that developed back behind this complex when it was in Nebraska, and they congealed into their own complex, and they've intensified a bit, and that's what I was looking at. We have what's known as a significant weather advisory. If you ever check out the weather on your own, that's what it's going to be called. And what it means is it's low-grade severe. We're looking at 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts with some of these storms and some 3/4-inch size hail, so just below that severe criteria there. But we're watching this complex, so we're not expecting anything severe, but we will monitor these very closely because they're also not playing by the rules so far. We've also had this new development that took place ahead of this line, and that's kind of what's been triggering our showers and storms down here. All of this continuing to push off to the south and the southeast and almost south. And take a look. We're getting new development on a new tail. That's how this formed. It was a tail off of that complex. So at this point, again, we're not expecting anything severe, but these storms with more development taking place could bring showers and storms over a broader area than what the original expectation was. So we'll monitor that because you can see future track, this is that complex expected to be in a decaying state when it enters into our northeastern counties in southwest Missouri. So we'll keep an eye on that for you, see exactly how that pans out. Otherwise, some isolated storms, maybe some scattered storms through the morning, low 60s to start, low 70s by 11. When we transition over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to visit New Jersey for a yearly run honoring the fallen heroes of 9/11. We'll see you over there at 7.
Well, this is your Wake Up Recap for September 9th. The top stories to start your day. A motorcycle crashed into a car yesterday, killing 18-year-old Nicholas Jones. The crash happened on 20th and Schifferdecker Avenue in Joplin. Authorities say the northbound motorcycle struck a southbound car. The driver of the car was not injured. A crew rushed the motorcycle driver to the hospital, but he later died of his injuries. Well, community members gathered to learn more about the demolition project for Joplin's Pennsylvania Avenue viaduct. The Pennsylvania Avenue viaduct has been closed since being found unsafe in 2019. The future of the site becomes complicated by property ownership of the land surrounding the bridge. Now to check up today's Wake Up Recap.
And we've got the isolated shower and storm chances for us today. Could be some scattered storms depending on how that complex plays out. We'll go upper 70s and low 80s today. South winds around 5 to 10. Partly cloudy. Rain should ramp up by 5. And will be partly cloudy through the evening. Upper 50s and low 60s overnight tonight. Warmer but still seasonable. Should be about 85. So we're pretty close to that. Mid 80s tomorrow. Still some isolated storm chances out there. And then as we head into the weekend, we are going to really heat up anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees above average as we go low mid 90s, upper 80s, low 90s next week as well. So still warm with some additional rain chances Tuesday and Wednesday. And of course, just keep an eye on that thunderstorm complex. Not expect anything severe, but could increase some of our shower and storm chances for some of us today.
All right. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making beefed up rice casserole in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
I mean, beefed up rice casserole.
I'm glad you did that. I didn't have
well,
to.
I'm just saying, it's beefed up. You got
There
Joyce
you go.
for noon for that.
Yeah.
And of course, your morning news does continue on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or, of course, you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, the Supreme Court lifted limits on ICE raids, what this could mean for the future of immigration.
Plus, Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission joining us to cook up a colorful and healthy treat for you. However, it's going to wrap things up for us for now. We will be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.